Kind of continuing our musical discussion theme, we mentioned this last week where we're going to talk a little more specifically Final Fantasy music, because that is obviously like where, you know, where the love of our like video game music really kind of, began. And we just have a lot we could talk about. This was like the easiest episode breakdown I've ever written, because it was like Final Fantasy music. 10 minutes later, I had like 5 pages. Like, okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure we could fill an episode with this.
Well, and we were dangerously close to going into these deep dives
I know.
last
I know.
Like, it was just like, okay, are we doing this, or are we just doing a quick cut? Let's get back to other things. Otherwise, Final Fantasy will take over the whole thing.
One of my good friends was laughing at. She was listening to the last episode of Me and You, and she was like, "Okay, we're not going to talk about Final Fantasy music." 5 seconds later, so this one Final Fantasy song though. It's like, yeah, I know, I can't help it.
You can't have none.
Yeah. So those were the two I had gone to, and then the one thing that was neat about the first year, the one when Uematsu was there, was they did the full-on opera scene from FF6, like actually with operatic singers there.
That's awesome.
And it was really funny because if you've never been to a Distant Worlds concert, they'll usually show footage from the game wherein this song is, taking place. And so, of course, they were showing the opera scene on the big projector, and there's that part where like the what do you call it? Not the prologue, but the I don't know musical terms, but it's like the intro or whatever. Yeah. It shows the little like 16-bit composer just like 2 frames like up here and down here, and everyone just started laughing because it's like happening right while the actual conductor is doing his thing.
It's essentially a meme too of that. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And my friend Cam is a gamer, but no Final Fantasy. Kind of new peripheral knowledge of 7 in general. Is like kind of steampunky, whatever, and that's about as much as he.
Sure. That's pretty close. That's a good. That's a good start.
You got 50% figured out.
Yeah.
But he also is like a professional trombone player, and so I knew he would really like it. Just studied music theory for his bachelor's, and the first kind of, whether it was the first track or kind of while we were sitting down, was someone on the harp performing the
prelude?
Final Fantasy track, the prelude. Yeah. And I remember we kind of sat down and then did that, nothing else, just spotlight on the harpist. And he was just like a super genuine, he was just like, oh man. And I was like, oh man, like this is really gonna like blow your mind if this is what. And it was like one of his favorite parts of the whole show. Was like full on harp. Anyway, it was really cool.
Oh, that's awesome. The Scargamilioni fight is like the FF4 boss theme, the normal one.
Oh, okay, sorry.
And then the other one, Barbaricha, is Battle of the Four Fiends theme, which is like a new version of that, which is insanely good. And then this patch, you fight, oh my god, Cagnazo, I think his name is, the water one. And he's at the end of a dungeon, so you get the FF4 boss theme again, the same remix version. And then fight Rubicante, and it was like, I would have been perfectly happy with that version you just did of Four Fiends last patch. But they're like, no, here's a new one. I was like, what? Like, it's just like, it was like a personal love letter to me, because that is like probably one of my favorite Final Fantasy boss themes ever. And Soken, the composer of 14, is like, yeah, here's another one for you. I was like, oh, what? I get 2? That entire song only plays the one time. And this is one that's the same. It's like near the end when like Zidane is at like his lowest point, and then like all this, in the most anime way, all his friends come to like, cheer him up or whatever, and the power of friendship.
Rally.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But man, if I hear that song, I still get like gut punched emotionally, like, because it's such a profound moment and it just, again, it's just how the music adds so much. And I was talking to someone at work, and I was like trying to explain why it matters so much. And I was like, go and watch like The Matrix, the first one, on mute, and tell me if you think it's a good movie. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it
No,
would
no,
look
totally.
pretty dumb if you can't hear the music that adds to the atmosphere of that movie or whatever, right? And
Yep.
it's like it's very much the same for a game. If a game just has bad music or no music, it's just like so much of that emotional impact is lessened for me, at
Yep.
least from like a storytelling standpoint.
Here, like this is
Yeah,
FF9. This is not FF1 or 2 here. So yeah, yeah.
and one thing that I love is like the way because since it is sort of a love letter to like the older origins of Final Fantasy and stuff is um, their battle theme because 8 and 7 didn't necessarily do this, but 1 through 6 did it. And
Yep.
I actually shout outs to Tara C Music again because I messaged her like 20 minutes before we recorded, and I was like, "Is there a musical term for this thing? Because I don't know what to
Oh,
call
nice.
it." And it's like the first like second of all the battle themes on like the old FFs, like especially the Super Nintendo ones. Where I'm
Oh,
not gonna be able to do it because I can't roll my R's, but it's like the
Yeah.
and it goes
Yeah.
into the theme.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's called so shoutouts to her. It is called a musical run, is what she called it.
Mm.
It's like okay,
Okay,
that
nice.
sounds better than what I was trying to explain it. So shoutouts to her for saving me on that one. But it has that, whereas
Mm.
7 and 8
Yep.
didn't really do that, and so it was like another way they sort of paid homage to the origins. Because even like FF1 did that. I'm pretty sure all
Yep.
6 of
Yep.
those first ones all did it.
Man, and that battle theme is awesome too.
So
Like,
good.
and like, I don't know what it is, but even like the first like 10 seconds of it, of just that build up in the like
Yeah.
um so,
Yeah.
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 So sometimes the battle theme you don't get to hear as much of 2 minutes into it because your battles last like 30 seconds or
Right.
whatever. But like e- every time I hear like get into a battle in that game, it's just like, yes, this track is awesome.
Which also
Which
is
is
like um, what's the word? A testament to
mm,
like someone like Uematsu. It's like you got to make that battle theme knowing I'm probably only going to hear 45 seconds of it like 1,000 times or
yeah,
whatever. And
yeah,
very rarely will I hear the whole thing. So it's like it can't be annoying. Like it can't be an
mhm,
annoying sound to hear
yep,
repetitively, and it isn't. It never is. It's always great.
yeah,
And so the other thing I just love so much about 7 Remake is and this is sort of similar to why I loved Xenoblade so much. The way they score a lot of their cutscenes is just
mm,
outstanding. And the point that got me the most, and it was like, so 7 Remake came out in early 2020, and we all know
oh
how
yeah,
things were going, in the world when that was going on. So I was like laid off of work for like 8 weeks or something. It happened like the week before 7 Remake came out, so I was okay with that.
yeah, yeah.
And so I was playing like 16-hour days or something playing 7 Remake when it first dropped because I didn't have to work, so you didn't need to be anywhere.
You you beat that faster than any human I've ever seen in complete a
I,
game. I was
I
like,
had 90 hours and the platinum trophy by the next Tuesday. Like before the next Tuesday.
I think I had sent you a text that was like, "Hey, I'm
I got my
finally at."
disc or something.
No, well, yeah, I also was a few days behind for that reason, but I feel like I texted you and I was like, "Hey, I'm in new territory. I'm in like a second after where the demo would take me after you blow up
Right.
the scorpion thing," and you were like, "I just beat the whole game," and I was like, "God damn it,
And
that was intense."
that was
Uh,
purely because I was off work for weeks, so I was
mhm,
like, what else am I gonna do? Am I not gonna play the game every waking minute? It was literally
yeah,
there was one night I was playing it, and it was like I was going on like hour 17, and I was like, oh man, I'm tired, and I just had a pillow on my couch, and I was just like, controller in hand, just like I woke up like 4 hours later. I was like, all right, let's keep going. I'm
yeah,
good.
amazing.
But so that's the headspace I was in what I'm getting
Oh
to.
yeah,
I was just so like inside this world of this game. Like I was so sucked in because I was playing it so long. Um, when you get that first like extra mission you do, that's like this deviation where you go to the reactor with like
Oh, and they're
Jesse.
turning on the lights and stuff.
Yeah, with like
Yeah.
Jesse. No, no, sorry. The not that one. It's when you go on like the motorbike
Oh,
chase
yep,
with
yep.
Jesse and Biggs
I
and
know where
Wedge.
you're going with this. Yeah.
So, what's his name? Roche? Is that his name? The soldier?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um, when you get to the cut, you do that whole sequence. You, if you don't have or you fall in love with Jesse unless you don't have a soul, and then you
Yes.
go in, you go into that that sequence where the jig is up and you're rushing in and Cloud's gonna fight off everyone while they're doing their thing, and Roche comes in, and so the song is called Ignition, and it's
Mhm.
the cutscene when he like comes in, gets off his bike, and gives his like monologue to Cloud,
Yeah.
and it's like
In the most Japanese
yeah,
anime,
yes,
like that
classic
everything about
anime villain speech. Um,
everything about that, I was just like, I love every second of this, and I know it's ridiculous,
yeah.
but yeah, yeah. All right.
But if you listen, if you watch that cutscene and you listen to the music, that to me is like was like here's the cutscene, please score it, like please
Yep.
put the like write the music to go with this. That's
Hmm.
how it feels because it literally is like just like that slow build up while he's giving his speech and he's like drawing his sword on like the pavement or whatever, and it's just like I had a moment when that cutscene was playing where it was just like what like this is a freaking video game like oh like how is this even possible because I always think back to like how much better Advent Children looked than obviously og ff7
Oh,
cutscenes and
oh
that
yeah,
and
yeah.
that was like oh man like the games are good but look at this movie like that's crazy how good that looks and it's like it hit me like this looks better than the movie did and it's in
Oh
engine
yeah.
like it's not even a fully rendered CG cut. It's like in engine like cutscene,
Yep.
and
And
it blew my mind how and it was the music. The music is the thing
yeah.
that that triggered it in me. Like oh my god, like what am I watching? Like the way the music was like scored perfectly to the like the sequence that was happening on
e-
screen. Ah,
every single beat of the scene itself, was perfectly timed, and I think like he's in it, not in or on his motorcycle. He is like carrying his motorcycle,
yeah,
yeah, in the air or whatever,
yeah.
at the perfect like most insane part of the track.
Yeah. And just
And
that
I
like
remember talking.
slow build up while he's delivering his monologue. It just like I think that was the
Yep.
moment I was like, oh my god, what am I watching? Like it's so cool.
Eh,
One cool thing too is like so. Well, I'll talk a little bit about it after, but so I really like the soundtrack in Final Fantasy 13 as well,
oh
um,
yeah.
and the composer for 13 assisted a lot on Seven Remakes soundtrack,
Okay.
and it was like I don't think I knew that going into the game because I tried to like avoid too much talk about the game itself just because I was like obviously buying it. So I just didn't want to see more than what the trailers showed me. And so it's Masashi Hamauzu. I probably pronounced that wrong, but he's the composer for 13. If you
Okay.
listen to it's called Infinity's End, and it's like when you're
Okay.
in that underground lab after the plate falls, when you like
Oh
play
yeah,
as
yeah. Uh-huh.
Barrett and you fight all those
Yep.
mutated things. It's the boss fight that plays at the conclusion of that. That is a Final Fantasy 13 track. Like if you
Oh
listen to
really?
that song and you like refresh yourself on what 13 sounds like, it was like I heard that and I was like, I literally was like, man, this sounds like something from like one of the 13 games. Like, am I just hearing a similar melody or something? And I eventually looked up and was like, oh yeah, of course. Hamazu is helping on this game. That is 100%
Oh,
his influence. Is like that song at the very least is like probably
I
what he was more heavily involved with. Just the overall sound of that game. And
cool.
then 13, like you mentioned, is like very different. I don't even know what to like classify its style as, other than just being totally different from old FF and 12,
Yep.
but good God, was that battle theme in my head for weeks. From the
Of 13?
of 13, yeah.
Oh
The
yeah.
Blinded by
Yeah.
Light, I could
Yeah.
not get that song out of my head.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it has, so it and the sequel, the first one, the 13-2,
Yep.
they both have these like gorgeous, like serene piano, like title screen like themes.
Yep. Yep.
Those two themes are still to this day my alarm when I get up in the morning.
That's awesome. And that's perfect.
Yeah, it's like the perfect like slow sort of wake up kind of alarm. And I'll just like I have both of them, the 13 and 13-2 title screen themes, and like every like couple months I'll flip it to the other one and go back and forth. And it's been that way like literally for as long as I've had a phone that I could do that, where I could set my own alarm as soon as I had got my first smartphone. That's probably that's like when I started doing that.
That's not only cool, that's a good idea. That's just a good idea. So yeah, that was really cool. I like that a lot.
And having those like that one like Soken do all those three, and they're all so good in their kind of respective sort of genre of music. He's just like that guy can just he's like a musical like chameleon. Like he can just be in all these different genres and do them super well. And he is composing the music for Final Fantasy 16,
nice.
which has me so excited to the point that if they do release another trailer, I think I'm at the point now where I'm skipping them. I'm not watching any more trailers.
Okay.
Because I don't even want to hear the music.
You're at your threshold.
Yeah, exactly. Because like it's like already paid for. Like I already own the game. I just gotta wait for it to come out.
When's it come out?
June 22nd, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Okay.
Got a week booked off of work. Like I'm set. I'm set for this game. And a large part of it is, and like after watching the first, like I think there's 3 trailers, maybe 4 trailers for 16 now. As soon as I heard the music before they announced he was composing officially, I was like, oh, this has Soken written all over it. And then each trailer just further, once we knew for sure it was him, it just further emphasized like, oh yeah, this soundtrack is going to be insanely good. Very simple game that I just sort of was thinking of the other day. Just a game of either or. So I'm going to give you 2 things, and I made them all FF themed just to stay on theme with the episode.
Are they FF music themed or just
FF? Just FF. Okay. Yeah, just Final Fantasy in general. Number 1, buffing the party or debuffing the boss?
Oh, man, these are hard questions. Yeah. I feel I'm more of a debuff. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, I love a good haste or I love a good whatever, but no, I think it's like, oh man, I think I'm a debuff. Like a deprotect is a total game changer.
Same.
Or I don't know if it's deprotect or makes them. Anyway, if they've got a protect shield and you crush that, or just make them more susceptible to physical attacks, yeah, that's just like, yeah, do that. I guess maybe, is this the right answer? I'm a debuff kind of spellcaster and a buff equipment.
No, you can only pick one.
Yeah, okay, debuffs then. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Emerald weapon fight in FF7. Or Omega weapon fight in FF8.
Oh, sorry, Emerald or Omega?
Yeah.
Okay, no context here. Which one do you hate more? Which one do you like more?
Either or, simple question.
Either or. I mean, FF7 it trumps everything.
Sure.
So,
okay.
Yeah. Emerald weapon. That's the one. It had a timer.
Unless you got the underwater materia, which was annoying to get.
No, yeah, Emerald weapon. That was a good. I felt the best beating that one than I did any of the other ones. So
okay.
Emerald weapon. Yeah.
Okay.
No, but Emerald weapon felt like a big accomplishment.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
And I find Emerald weapon, but not at level 99. Like give yourself a little bit of
make it hard. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Materia system. Oh, I probably know how this is gonna go because you're just gonna pick the FF7 one. Materia system in FF7 or the
Yeah.
Esper system in FF6?
It's funny you mention that because I was kind of writing some notes about FF7 remake trophies, wondering if we were going to get into that, and I was struggling to remember the what Ifrit, what Shiva, whatever is called in FF7. I think they're called summon monsters. Like what are
Oh,
they called? Um,
yeah, I don't know what they call.
I mean,
I
if
don't
they,
know.
I don't know if they address them in the actual narrative ever. To me, they're forever espers. Esper,
Sure,
just like,
okay.
I just love that word. And I guess that's, again, our indoctrination was with FF6, and so like
Yep.
Ifrit and Modwin are espers, and Shiva and Ramu and things like that. They're espers. So, um, but the system, what system is better, the materia system or the esper system? Yeah, materia all the way.
Okay.
Um, just support materia, and like there's, yeah, just like the complementarity aspect of materia, how like certain things could complement the other,
Yeah.
is super cool. Esper system was cool too, but yeah, materia for sure.
Okay. I should have put more
Yeah.
FF7 things against each other.
No, yeah, exactly. But still, that one was actually harder than it seemed on the surface,
Sure,
just because
okay.
espers themselves are pretty cool.
Yeah. Buster Sword or Gunblade?
Ooh, like I love the Buster Sword is the coolest thing ever.
Sure.
Um,
It's
but
pretty
I remember,
iconic.
yeah, Gunblade was. I mean, again, it's a either or question. There are no, there's nothing kind of associated.
Simple
Um,
question.
yeah, um, the mechanic of having to hit it in the game was pretty
Yeah.
cool. Controlling your own destiny for crits and stuff like that. Um, and I remember seeing that like on the tails of FF7 going into FF8, and like it's on fire. It's like
Oh, yeah.
across Squall's uh, 51% Gunblade, 49%
Okay.
Buster
Okay.
Sword.
I'll
Yeah,
accept.
yeah, cool.
Okay. Landing a critical hit or
Hmm.
dodging a killing blow. So, meaning
Hmm.
you're at 1 HP and he goes to hit you and you
Yeah,
miss. That's what I mean by killing blow.
yeah. Hmm. I love a good crit.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Especially like when,
The sound effect
yeah,
changes.
yeah, or a flash or whatever. And when you're not kind of like not relying on it, but it's just like, oh man, okay, like, oh man, that crit means that I might be able to finish this off now instead
Sure.
of whatever. Yeah, yeah, I love a good crit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Simple
And so
question.
sorry, so I guess that means if I were to equip a materia that would either increase crits or increase
Sure.
evasion, I'd
You go the
probably do
crit
the more
one.
crits.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Simple question.
Oh
The
God.
the opera scene from FF6 or the
Okay.
Honeybee Inn scene from 7 Remake?
um. Hmm. I haven't played the six pixel
Sure.
remaster, so but I've seen it, I guess. Um, like on the whole, the Honeybee Inn scene kind of starts to get away from me a little bit, but like
Okay.
when you get like I don't love the Honeybee scene as much as I probably. That's a hard question. But the big reveal and Aerith being so excited for what's gonna happen here, and sorry, the input, quick time dance scene, yeah, Honeybee in.
Level your party members equally or
Hmm.
pick your party and power through.
Hmm. I'm a pick your party and power through.
Okay.
I think, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Um,
that's how I've always been. Like, like growing up playing them. Only in
Yeah.
recent years when, and not for all of them, but like the last time I played 7, I like rotated out a lot and tried to like
Yeah.
level everyone up just to the variety of it, right?
Different game. It makes it a different game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll do that more often now, but I'm generally more just pick your party and just power through the game.
The thing I'm better at now than I used to be as a kid was just like, as a kid, it was like, oh, okay, most important thing, max out attack power. That's the only
Yes.
thing that ever matters.
Yeah.
Now it's like, no, hey, look, Aerith is not like, there's no point in trying to max out her attack power, kind of thing. Stuff like that. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
I did a lot of that with my subsequent playthroughs of 8. Because I would just junction everything to attack, then attack, like just hold X and attack everything.
Yep.
And like
And that's still
picking, yeah, no, and like picking, because I'd always be too afraid of like using my magic because it's like you lose charges of it or whatever, right? But it's like
Yeah.
So when I was, recent playthroughs, I would like put Renoa in my party and put all of her junction in magic, and she was unstoppable. Like she was so powerful, and it's like, oh, that's way more fun to play it that way. And I'd have
playing to people's kind of not their inherent builds. Kind of thing. Yeah.
So I've definitely gotten better at that as time goes on.
Same. Yeah.
Okay, so this last one, you have 3 seconds to answer, and if you don't pick one, sorry, what were you gonna say?
Gut reaction.
Gut reaction. Yeah. Simple question.
Okay.
And if you don't answer in 3 seconds, I'll assume the answer is neither.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Tifa or Aerith?
Tifa.
Okay, I was hoping to make you think. I didn't know if you'd be ready to pull the trigger. And the last thing we'll say about 7, and then we'll just take a quick break before we wrap up the last segment. That like
it's fine. The last thing we'll say about 7.
Yeah, I know.
Nice try.
That's a good point.
Trigger warning. Yeah, spoiler alert. It's not.